What do these four have in common? They're all left-handed. How many of you are left-handed? Can you raise your hand? Okay, 2. I'm also left-handed, so 3 out of 26. That's 11.54%. According to GaleGroup.com, only 1 out of every 10 people is left-handed. Slightly more men fall in this category than women, and out of every 4 left-handed women, there are 5 left-handed men. So, about 12% of the population are left-handed, which creates a clear bias towards the right hand. But why is this? What are the causes of handedness? Could it be genetics? Is it chance? Or maybe a combination of both? Live Science defines handedness as the preference for using one hand over the other. So the first theory, is it genetics? Tabitha Powledge conducted a study to observe brain development and asymmetry. This was specifically observing the PCSK6 gene, which helps to determine development of left and right hand asymmetry. So the results of the study are as follows. Our findings lead us to propose that handedness is a polygenic trait controlled in part by the molecular mechanisms that establish left and right body asymmetry early in development. This is from geneticliteracyproject.org. There have also been other studies that point to handedness being established in early stages of development. An article by The Scientific American has traced the cause of handedness back to prenatal intrauterine developmental processes, back to the time when the fetal brain is first developing distinct cerebral hemispheres. So if babies suck on one thumb or touch their surroundings or touch their face with one hand more than the other, it kind of gives an idea of what hand they'll be writing with. I also found a TED-Ed video called Why Are Some People Left-Handed? And it discusses the probability of having a left-handed child with different combinations of handed parents. So as you can see, if the father and the mother are both left-handed, there's a 24% chance of having a left-handed child. But the probability drops significantly when, say, the father is left-handed and the mother is right-handed. It becomes 17%. So another theory is that handedness is due to chance. This is harder to prove since the belief is that handedness is uncontrollable, so it's hard to conduct a study on that. Also, you can see that having both right-handed parents, the probability of having a left-handed child drops to 9%. So this is why people believe that there are other factors than genetics that cause handedness, just because the probability is so low. The Atlantic, I found an article in The Atlantic that says that our culture and many others, the left hand is in the minority, and there are instances in today's society that establish negative connotations for the left-handed people. So an article in The Atlantic is that our culture and many others, you've got expressions for positive attributes like the right answer or the right hand, and expressions that are clumsy or bad like 2 left feet. So in history, the right side has always been correlated with what is correct or good, and the left hand has meant things like bad or evil. So I had a teacher in high school. He was naturally left-handed, but was forced to relearn how to write with his right hand just because of the stigma that writing with your left hand is bad. Another example from The Atlantic is that in Ghana, you're not allowed to point with your left hand because the left hand is reserved for dirty things. Also, in some Islamic cultures, you're told to use your right foot to step into the mosque and your left foot to step into the bathroom. We live in a world designed for right-handed people, but that causes a problem for people like me who are left-handed to adapt to things like that. So cutting paper with scissors, or sitting in a desk, or writing in a notebook, these are just 3 things that are all necessities or common daily occurrences that are a bit more difficult for left-handed people. There was the first patent that was for ambidextrous scissors that was created in 1974 by John W. Mayer. And there was their first reversible chair and desk, which accommodated both left and right-handed people, in 1981 by Richard K. Malm. These are both patents from Google Patents. So things like scissors, desks, and notebooks are necessities to creating an effective classroom environment, but there's little emphasis on creating resources that work for all kinds of students, clearly because the patents aren't from the 1900s and not in an earlier time. Even at Cal Poly, there are classrooms with few left-handed desks and desks wide enough to accommodate both hands, and then you run into problems when right-handed people sit in left-handed desks, and so it's, yeah, that's kind of a problem too. These problems are definitely overlooked because it only affects a small number of people, since there are so many more right-handed people than left-handed people. There are advantages and disadvantages, though. So a perfect example would be in sports, specifically baseball and golf. It shows that since there are more right-handed athletes in baseball, they practice with and against other right-handed athletes, and so they become accustomed to different strategies and things like that for right-handed athletes. But when a lefty comes along, it's a different orientation, and so it's something that you have to adapt to that right-handed athletes don't have as much experience with. But in golf, because it's more of a tactical sport, there's less of an advantage. So handedness is something that makes each of us unique, and even though there are a few left-handed people, there are just different things that we have to adapt to and become comfortable with. So on August 13th, which is also known as National Left-Handers Day, remember all the lefties out there. Thank you.